Alright guys, you want to be considered good pigeon racers? You want guys to show respect and to see you as actual competition and not just another guy in the club? There's only one way to do that. And it's simple. Win the biggest race and the one that everybody's after. Now, I'm not going to lie and tell you guys I won that race. But I'll tell you one thing. I came in pretty darn close. I took second place and I missed it by 22 seconds. And this is the pair that did it for me. Now, I know 22 seconds is a huge gap when we're talking big races. There have been races won by 0 seconds. But considering that the third bird home was 3 minutes behind both of the two first and second place bird, says a lot about these two pigeons. Now, I take nothing away from the guy who actually won the race. He's a tremendous breeder. He's a tremendous flyer. I give him nothing but respect, and he won fair and square. My bird did not hesitate. It came right down, trapped immediately, maybe within a couple seconds. So he won outright, fair and square. But I'll tell you what, guys, after that race, it was immediate. Guys were starting to call me on race day to see how I got the birds. I was being taken serious, and honestly, I could not have felt better in my pigeon career, for lack of better words, than guys who I respect calling me on race day to ask me how my birds did, how I got them. And this is the pair that did it for me. This is a bird I call Warren 155. He is the backbone of my 155 family. He is a direct son of the 155. Now, these numbers, these bad numbers I'm spouting out mean nothing to you guys. I understand that. I'm just trying to paint a picture of how important this bird was in the loft of my mentor. It was the foundation breeder for his entire loft. A lot of the birds that he's raced tremendous with were of the 155 family, including others. I'm not saying that's all he had. I'm saying that was the backbone of his loft. And this son, direct son, has his father's band number. Now, I didn't see the bird ahead of the auction. I bought him at the auction and at the final sale auction, and I didn't see him ahead of time, but we were given a printout of all the birds that were going to be in the auction. And I knew right away that I wasn't able to afford some of the big, name birds, I should say, the birds that have produced winners or have produced super pigeons. But there was a handful of 2019 late hatches that I thought to myself, maybe I can get my hands on a couple of those. I sort of prepared myself for maybe going home with a pair of pigeons. And when I got to the auction and I laid my eyes on him and how freaking gorgeous he is, a pencil blue check white flight with his sire's band number, the foundation cock of that gentleman's loft, I said, there's no way I'm not going home with this bird. And honestly, guys, it's the most... Oh, my battery died. Dang it. Now it's going to be all dark. Son of a gun. Nonetheless, I'm sure you guys can see just fine without. But, like I was saying, it's the most I've ever spent on one single pigeon. And I know what you guys think you heard, and I'm going to correct that before it goes any further. It does not take a boatload of money to get good pigeons. It does not. And I'm not saying that go out there and spend all of what you got to get good pigeons. I was simply lucky enough to be at the right place at the right time. And unfortunately, at the same time, for me, there was a lot of guys gunning for this specific bird. So it took me quite a bit. Now, the reason I spent so much is that I didn't know at the time I was going to get 3 additional family members off of this specific bird or off of this specific family. So I said, this is my only chance. I won't have another one. I'm going to pull the trigger and buy this bird. And his first youngster that he bred paid for himself and probably every other bird in my loft, honestly. I don't spend a lot of money on birds, and the birds that I do spend money on have so far, with the exception of one bird, proven to be tremendous pigeons. I'm not saying I know how to pick them. I'm simply saying I was lucky at picking them. And this particular pair, and this is, well, let me think, 6, pair number 7, was a love mating. I know my buddy from Thundercat and I were We're talking he's never heard the term love mating, and I'll explain to you what a love mating is. Not that I need to, I'm just making a joke, I guess. I gave this cock a different hen when I first got him, and he just wouldn't take. I don't know what happened, why. He simply did not like the hen. She did not like him. And after a week of trying, it just could not get him to mate up. So then I decided, well, I'm going to take him out. Maybe he's too young. He was a 2019 late hatch. Maybe he's not ready. I'm going to take him out, throw him in with the hens, and he'll figure it out. And the moment his feet hit the ground, he immediately started chasing this specific hen right here. I grabbed him, I put him in the box, and it was love at first sight, without question. They were down on eggs within 6-7 days, and they bred me the best bird I think I've ever raced from my loft, winning quite a large pot of prize money, and simply love mating. They picked themselves, and I went with it. I said, well, you know what you like? She's a tremendous hen. I didn't think anything of it. Put them together. And that really applies if you consider all your birds good. If you have birds in your loft, which I don't know why anybody would, that you consider maybe a second grade B class pigeon, then you run the risk of maybe mating up your best bird with a bird that you don't consider as good. Why somebody would keep birds like that, I don't know. Every bird I have in here, I would mate to my very best, and that's how I approach pigeon keeping. This hen here is of Polish origin. She's the first youngster bred out of 2 Polish imports. She was raced. She didn't do tremendous, but she was held back because the gentleman wanted to race her at old birds and then try her as a breeder at the same time. And then one thing led to another, and he eventually got out of the sport. He called me over and he said, hey, pick what you like. And I said, I'm not going to pick what I like. I'm going to take what you give me, because you know your birds better than anyone else. Put me on a pair of birds that you consider your top or your best. And he gave me this hen here. So he is Warren 155, and I call her the Polish hen. I was going to go with Polish Princess, but I know there's a bird out there called the Polish Prince, and I didn't want to go down that freaking, rabbit hole of whatever. So I just said, you know what? She's the Polish hen. I could give her another band or another name, but I don't really care, honestly. I just know that this mating happened. I bred him last year, and unfortunately something, again, like I mentioned before in the previous videos, I must have missed something. A day or two before the youngsters were due to hatch, they simply stopped sitting on the eggs, and the eggs froze. It was a nightmare last year. I probably had 4 or 5 pair of birds that didn't produce anything for me. And the ones that did bred fairly well, but I missed something. Hopefully that's not the case this year. So we're going to put them together again this year. Maybe we can recreate the 2020 season. Maybe we can get another tremendous couple pair of babies out of them. And I say a couple because not only did they breed me my second place bird, they also bred a very late round of youngsters. I would say probably May, maybe even June youngsters that I wasn't planning on racing, and I decided last minute, oh well, I'm going to send them. If they make it, I'll decide at the end of the year if I want to keep them or not. And out of those 2 youngsters, I ended up with a tremendous little blue bar hen that is now currently breeding at Blessings Loft. I sent her along with the big chocolate because they are of the same 155 family. This cock here and the father to the chocolate are uncle and nephew, and the 2 youngsters are off of those 2 main breeders. And I thought to myself, man, that would be a nice sort of line breeding, I guess. I guess I'd have to look at the pedigree or a pedigree to see what it would end up being. But I think it'd be a line bred off the 155 stuff. Unfortunately, it didn't work out. The cock was scalping the hen, so he ended up giving that cock a different hen. So I'm hoping that he's going to use the hen, because I think she is of some sort of quality. Until we breed her and find out, we won't know. But again, she's off my very best. And I just wanted to show you, Blessings, if you're watching, this is the parents to 092, the little blue bar hen that was getting scalped. Not to get off track, guys. Again, we're going to try them again this year. Hopefully they recreate that 2020 season for me. Maybe they were just one-hit wonders. Who knows? Even your best birds are going to breed bad pigeons from time to time. They're not always going to breed good ones. And don't fool yourselves to think that. Even the best birds in the world breed more junk than good. It's up to us to continuously breed out of them and continuously test them to find out which ones are in fact junk and which ones are in fact supers. So we'll see, guys. Pair number 8. I know I said pair number 7 earlier, and I'm starting to lose track of which pair I'm on, but we are on pair number 8. And, I shouldn't say my favorite pair because I think they're all my favorite. I'm proud of this pair. They bred so darn well, and they bred some of the biggest money prize winning pigeons that I own. And it's of course the same family, the 155 stuff. So I am proud of them, and I just want to, I guess, highlight how important they mean, or how important they are and what they mean to me. Just for the guys watching who actually enjoy the videos, I appreciate it, guys. I'm getting a lot of good feedback. So we'll move on to pair number 9 in the next video, and I think that's the one that Andre Tomas, another super good friend of mine, is anxiously waiting for, and we'll make that video as well, guys. See you in the next one. Pair number 8.